So the shopping cart theory, it reads out that the shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing. Yeah. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task, and one which we all recognize as the correct and appropriate thing to do. To return the shopping cart is objectively right. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Everybody agree?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's objectively right.
Well, it's easier for the cart person.
Right. Or it just put your cart back where it came, It is
they're
what it
lucky
is.
enough
I
to
have words
supply
about
it
this,
for
Brad.
you, so you
Right.
don't have to bring your own cart.
I have words about this.
Yeah,
if I'm
tell me,
less
though.
than 40
Okay,
yards.
so I do agree that is the right thing to do.
But
When I was
I'm just going to tell
14
you, I might cut you off just because there's more beyond this.
Okay.
But I want that. Quick opinion.
interjection then.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was 14 and my first job was at a grocery store, every hour somebody would have to go outside to do carts.
Mm-hmm.
When there was no carts, we were bummed. We wanted to go outside because we were stuck in this grocery store. So
they were depriving people by putting them in the proper area.
it was if we went outside there's no carts, we'd have a half hour designated to be on carts, and if there's no carts, you're just sitting there with your thumb up your ass.
Now, to be fair, this particular situation incorporates cart return centers in the parking lot, right? So it's not like you have to bring it back to the store. So these are bays for the parking lot. Yeah.
Why do I keep hearing Steve Carell
Yeah, saying Kelly Clarkson.
that's
Is
my
that your
phone. I'm
text?
sorry.
Why do I? Is that
I
you?
didn't realize it was off.
I know. It's
Okay.
am I hearing things?
Okay,
I was
sorry.
no one else is
Sorry.
saying anything. So.
Oh, Kelly Clarkson.
I keep
Yeah.
hearing that. I'm like,
I was like, is it on TV inside? What's happening?
Steve Carell's actually in the living room.
Yeah,
He's
right.
just
Saying the same
I
thing
want to reenact that one scene from Four Gilbert.
Oh,
over
my
and
God.
over and over.
I'm sorry.
thought I was alone.
So fun. Okay.
I'm glad you called it out.
All right. Sorry.
So anyway.
back on topic. My bad.
So it reads on to say there are no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Yeah. With the exception of maybe the people in the mobiles and whatever.
Handicap situation.
Sure, obviously. Yeah. Simultaneously, it's not illegal to abandon your cart. Therefore, the
question
shopping
of
cart
ethics.
presents itself as an apex example of whether a person will do what's right without being forced to do it or not. No one will punish you for not returning the cart. No one will fine you or kill you for not returning the shopping cart. You gain nothing
What if we lived in a world people
by
would kill
returning.
you?
Right.
No.
You gain nothing by
So-
returning the shopping cart.
Right.
Unless
So-
you're at Aldi's and you get your quarter back.
I like to leave carts at
Oh,
Aldi's.
there's a good point.
But I mean, you've
Yeah.
given the quarter, so you get it back. So you're not gaining anything.
I guess you're not gaining
evening
anything. Yeah,
out,
you're just evening
But
out.
you're
It's
not
an
losing anything.
It's an
Yeah.
incentive
Yeah.
to
I
bring
always
the
do
cart
a
back.
That's
bad dad
interesting.
joke when I'm at Aldi.
Genius.
People be like, when somebody's walking up and you're putting your cart back, they'll be like, "Oh, I'll buy that one." I'm like, "This one's 50 cents. This is."
Oh, oh! I thought you were gonna say my favorite thing from Aldi's is Aldi's nuts.
Oh,
I'm gonna say that
That's
now,
I have not said that before. I'm going to steal that.
That's my favorite,
good.
yeah.
especially because you walk in and the nuts are the first thing in there. It's like, look at all these nuts.
Aldi's nuts right here.
I want to take credit. I feel like I started that.
All these nuts?
I'm going to take credit for that.
Okay,
I'm gonna think of you every time I go to Aldi now.
and look at
I'm
those
taking
nuts.
I'm taking credit for it right now.
I'm gonna message you and I'm gonna say, "Brad, look at all these nuts."
Okay.
Anyway,
So, okay. With the exception of Aldi, which clearly gives you your money back and gives you an incentive to bring your cart back. That's amazing. I forgot about that. I wouldn't say it debunks completely this idea. But so you must return the shopping cart out of the goodness of your own heart. Right? You must return the shopping cart because it's the right thing to do because it's correct. So this article goes on to say a person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage who can only be made to do what's right by threatening them with a law and forced and
a
the force
consequence.
that stands behind it. Yeah. The shopping cart is what determines whether a person is a good or bad member of society. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I'm going to just point out that I think that the question is who benefits more, the person who gets home 1 to 2 minutes earlier than the person who puts the cart back, or the person who throughout his life takes that extra 30 seconds to a minute to run the cart across the place and put it in the proper place and make sure nobody's car gets hit with a cart. But I'm going to point out that Christina's child, my stepson, Connor, I teach him, and before hearing this, every time we go, I make sure that we make it a avid point to put the cart in the cart area.
It's the right thing to do.
I just feel like it's a moral. It's and you have the right idea, Jeff. Like in my opinion, this is my opinion.
More?
I think that it's actually a good moral lesson to teach children to say,
right,
we brought it here.
Character.
We don't even have to take it back. Right. We just have to put it where they ask us to.
Yeah, they put an area there
it's
for
the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So you make it a point to teach him to like, okay, we're just going to put it here, and that's how
and
life
that's the
goes.
same thing when they take the cereal box out. You got to roll it back up and close it and put it back in the pantry.
He doesn't mess around with his cereal.
No, that's cereal's a serious game.
Have you seen
If you think those little flaps are doing anything for freshness, you're living in a world of lies.
Have you seen the cool way how to fold the cereal box?
No, wait, no. I got to learn this.
It's fucking wild,
it's on
dude.
the TikTok.
It's wild. TikTok is a crazy place, and no one should ever go there. Ellie, what do you think? Do you return the shopping carts to the shopping cart center?
So I always do, and I'm lazy enough that I'll park next to the corral, so I don't have to walk very far.
What did I say?
That's it.
What did I say?
Yeah, we were actually just having this talk before everyone got here. We were talking. He read the article to me and stuff, and he was like, yeah, he's like, I'll intentionally drive around the parking lot to park next to them. And I was like, that's why you're because I'm like,
no,
you've
that's
passed
a good
100
idea.
spots.
I do. Yeah.
Just to put it into context,
And I was like, I always
Ellie
thought you were
Brock
just crazy.
and Brad Brock are related.
More so now than ever.
Oh, that's crazy.
But I do want to say, so like,
That's funny. I like that.
the idea behind it, like, yes, you should do it because it's right, but I think the reasoning behind it, like, of why you do it should also be a factor, because like I do it because, one, if the carts are all willy-nilly out in the parking lot, like it gets hit by a car, or like then the people going to get the cars, especially like at Walmart where they're just everywhere, like,
But that's Walmart.
right,
That's what Walmart's about.
and I guess like it's someone's job, but like if that was my job, like I would just get pissed and you see people with their carts like all upside down in the fucking mulch, and like you gotta pick it up and like be like, wow, what an asshole. But like I think it's more of just why you do it, because you don't want to hurt people's property, or you don't want to make someone else's job.
Positively contributing to society. That's
like
all
you're
that
doing
is.
it to help someone else out.
Right.
Not
you don't
just
even
like
know
a
who.
sheep, like, oh, this is where it goes, with no idea why.
You're paying it forward, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think if you do it because
Karma.
like you don't want to make someone else's life shit.
Kevin McLaughlin chimed in, a
What
good
is
friend
it?
of ours.
What's up, Kev?
He said, wow, the definition of being a savage has really changed.
That's true.
And I agree. I'm reading an article. This is not something that I wrote. This isn't something that I 100% believe in. I think it's interesting because I personally make it a point to put the cart back in the cart return, and if the cart return is not nearby, or I'm not under dire circumstances,
Right.
like I will walk it back to the store. But like Jordan said, like I will drive and make sure I park very near a cart return, because I know, and it could be far away.
I'm probably going to start doing this now, because what I do now is I look for like one overhanging leaf, and I believe if my headlight is in a shade piece, then
Somehow
my car will somehow be less hot.
Be cooler.
And that's what I do.
It's funny though.
So now instead of the shade, you're looking for the cart.
Now I'm going to change my
Return.
whole philosophy because
But
of this bullshit.
it's funny. Like I look at it that way, and I say, okay, I'll park here, and if I'm coming from the store, I can walk 500 feet from the store entrance to my car in the cart, and then I put all the shit in the car, and then I just take the 5 feet or the 25 feet back to the cart return. I don't know. I thought it was a very interesting article.
That's interesting. That's
and a
good.
very interesting litmus test because
It might not be the definition of savage,
you're
but it's
right.
going to be. But it's an
absolutely
insight
right.
into the savage mind.
in to bring it into normal times,
Right.
or which normal times now, which is the worst thing to say.
What
But
is
like
normal?
in the terms of like masks in places making
I
masks
think the
mandatory.
merge lane is where the savage
Oh
is
my
defined.
God.
Well,
If
yeah.
you're
The suicide lane in the
yeah,
middle.
that's where you've
Ugh.
got to come together and you've got to either take it or allow it, and you've got to be aware of the fact that both of your lives you got to do it, and that's savage, and you've got to be prepared
Yep.
to be a
Yeah.
gentleman or to just accept
I am
the position that you're in.
100% the savage every time. I'm like, you waited till the last minute. You're trying to speed past me. Mm-mm.
He who hesitates.
Not today.
I'm like,
That's how
nope.
it goes.
But you're
You done
supposed,
fucked up.
but the rule book says that you are supposed to
No, you're
merge
supposed
at the
to
last
not be an
minute.
idiot
That's
and
true.
stay in that lane till the end when you know it's merging.
But then
in
two
like
people
4
that run
seconds.
into each
Yeah.
other, who's the idiot in that situation?
Well,
That's
in
where I'm
Florida,
at.
it's a no-fault state, so it's nobody.
Nobody, everyone wins.
Everybody
That's
gets-
because
Everybody
everyone
wins.
is an idiot.
I can't
Touche.
help but to agree. I thought it was an interesting point of view,
That's a good
and
one.
and to bring it into the mask world, like people talking about masks and the government or the local government mandating masks. That's what this relates to me in things that are happening now with Martin County, with St. Lucie County just passing a mask mandate. Let me tell you what, it doesn't affect me
No.
because I decided that it was my own prerogative
To do it.
to go out and wear a mask.
Right.
I'm going to go wear, because it's not for me.
No, it's not.
I've not
for me.
gotten sick.
Right.
I've made it all these months without getting sick. And if I'm somehow asymptomatic, I don't know that.
I don't want to spread it.
And I don't want to spread it. So I wear a mask. I wear a mask when I
And
go to the
all those
stores.
scared older people, it would just make my day, just like returning a cart.
Sure.
It would make me very comfortable to know that people aren't making a wide berth around me because of that fact. And that's all I want to know. I'm fine with that.
But it's exactly what that test says. If everybody says you're not going to be penalized by wearing a mask,
It's a good analogy.
but you're expected to because it's the right thing to do. So returning the cart to the cart return is wearing the mask when you go out in public.
Exactly.
Right?
It is the equivalent. I agree.
So there are a majority of people that will just do that because it's the right thing to do.
So can we take a poll on here? Can we take a poll on
God,
how
I
many
wish we
people
could.
Disagree
But
with-
if you are tuning in, please comment. We would love to read that. However many of
That's
you
a
are
good
tuning in, we would love to get that feedback. Talk to us about masks. We
The
love this shit.
correlation.
So
Um,
I think that ultimately, like, if there's something that you are able to do that causes you no harm or slight inconvenience, and it helps someone else out, like if you choose to do that, overall you should be a decent person. Like, but if you're like, oh, I don't have the time, I can't be bothered by this, but it's like really not a bother and it's going to help someone else out, and you choose actively not to do that, you're probably an asshole.
Yeah.
I feel like your odds
That's my
of getting
thoughts on it.
rear-ended or screwed over or all those things. I'm a karma believer. So
I concur.
put the card back. I don't know. That's where I'm
Yeah.
at. And also with the mask.
And if not,
So-
stay at home. There's services. You
That's
can
true.
get Instacart delivery. You,
just
don't have
pay
to
your
go out in
little
public.
$4.99
like-
fee and get
Yeah.
your
I agree, and
like-
I mean, I guess it's too late to preface this conversation, but I will post-fiss this conversation by saying I don't.
Post
What are we doing?
I have post-fiss.
Oh.
I do not condone government control, and this is my personal belief. I don't condone government control over what people can and can't do.
Okay, yeah.
Certainly on a county level, like this is unheard of.
Right.
You want to mandate it from a higher level, fair enough.
But I agreed to this before it was
These are
mandated.
people that live at the house next door to me 5 months ago, and now they're here making decisions. That's a different thing. And we didn't get a vote. We didn't get any kind of thing. These are people using emergency circumstances to make a mandate.
Everything here is a little last minute.
But
That's just the way
in
it
the
is.
same breath, in the very same breath, people that are choosing to, if you're going out in public not wearing a mask and just going on your business and doing your thing and then fucking right the fuck off.
Yeah.
Wow.
How's it going?
I'm just saying.
Fucking right the
You
fuck
fuck
off.
right off. You go get your eggs out of the store and you carry on back and you go on with your life. That's you, man.
It really is.
I don't think.
But that's why
I
we're-
personally don't
that's-
think you're doing the right thing.
No,
People
but
are gonna do what people are gonna
But
do.
if you're not getting in someone's face, condemning them for wearing a mask, and
vice versa, they got to be left alone.
yes, absolutely,
I don't want any harassment.
You know what I mean? If you're just going through like ships in the night and just doing the things you need to do, then okay.
Yep.
But the problem is you have people that are not wearing a mask as some sort of protest.
They're just scared.
And
They're
then you
just
have
watching
people
all
that are
this.
wearing masks because of some sort of protest.
Exactly.
And you're now creating these incredibly volatile situations where there's other people involved that are just trying to get on with their lives.
Which
you know?
is where I feel like I'm at with
You know,
that.
like I said, I think that everyone should just wear a mask right now because this is happening. This is a real thing.
But I
Get
feel
it
like
out of the way.
everybody should return their cart to their thing. And in that same sense, there's no legal obligation to the cart.
Hundreds.
Everyone should return their masks.
Hundreds
But
of carts.
listen, I've got family up.
Not returned.
What is the name of that damn town? It's up north of Daytona. Just a nice little town, beautiful little place. And cops are standing outside of Publix and Walmart, and they're giving tickets to people
Wow.
that chose not to go in because it was a countywide mandate. It's not a huge fine. It's like whatever, $35 or something like that. But it's a speed bump.
It's
your
wild.
day.
It's
Yeah.
wild that somehow like local governments are able to fine you for
Pretty
like
crazy.
Yeah.
you know, right or wrong. And that's my point. Like I'm not at all trying to polarize or like I'm just being objective.
Yeah.
Because I spend most of my time in my garage in my house that y'all are sitting in right now.
Yeah. And we're here.
80% of my time I spend here.
And
I don't
have
go
a
out.
mask on.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't have a mask on right now.
Well, I mean, you know, like Jordan gets tested every 2 weeks, you know, and I, you know, like
Well, you're
it's
in the
been
orange
negative
juice
so far. So like
The orange juice
yeah, knock on wood, she says. But you know, here we are, like, and I wear a mask when I go to the grocery store. I wear a mask when I go out when I know I'm going to be involved in a bunch of people.
I keep them on my gear
Yep.
shift. I just
It's
I put 'em
not
out there.
an
I keep mine too.
it's
I
not
do.
such an
Same.
inconvenience to me
I don't care exactly.
that I'm gonna throw fisticuffs
Nope.
Yeah.
it's not gonna do
to
it.
somebody who's not wearing a
I'm
mask.
still
Yeah.
doing
It's
what I
wild.
want to do with the rest of my life, and I'm very grateful for that. But I've had, you know, a lot of ups and downs in my life, and I don't feel like that little compromise is that big of a deal.
Well,
it's
my
not.
question to all of you here on the panel.
I feel like
We have a
I feel
panel.
like no one's gonna get mad at you for you wearing a mask, but people are gonna get mad
No,
at you
that's-
for not
Yeah.
wearing
That's
a mask.
wrong.
So
but
that's
the
wrong.
Point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
because I've heard multiple stories of
people are gonna come up to you in the grocery store because
Yeah.
you're wearing a mask and be like, "Take that off your face
I've
now."
Oh,
read
yeah.
stories
It's like a peer
recently
pressure thing.
of people coming up to people wearing a
It
mask and
comes
giving
down
them
to
shit.
mind your business.
Yeah.
That's the
Mind
same person
your
that
business.
flips their shopping cart upside down in the middle of the mall.
It's a
And
thing.
spits on you.
So,
Yeah, it's just
so
like,
my
fuck this
question,
person.
my question to each of you and to all of you out there that's
Yeah.
tuning in, please chime in to the comments. Have you personally gotten into an altercation of any kind, mild or massive, with somebody who, if you were in a store wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, where they came up to you and gave you shit one way or another? Any of you?
No.
Not a mask thing, but I did get yelled at for going the wrong way down an aisle at Publix.
That is incorporated.
Did you get
That's
that?
well.
Ah, that's
I did.
funny.
I didn't
So-
even. It was right when it started.
I didn't
And
laugh.
I'm usually high as
Yeah, you
shit
should
when
put that
I go
up
to
like
Publix.
eyesight. Not
It's
on
a
the
weird
ground.
thing.
It's like the wrong way. Like
That's right.
what? This lady just
Now was
you're
that
going
person
the wrong way?
Was that person wearing a mask?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, yes, she was.
Well, at least she's consistent.
Yes, she-
She's
I
not
know
just a
it's tough.
Karen. You
Oh,
know?
she was.
I mean, she's a Karen.
Pretty Karen-y.
Karen was on
I had a
point.
situation. So when all of it happened and we no longer had like dining in a restaurant, we only had like takeout and delivery. we were told to have one entrance because we have 2 doors, one on either side of the building. We were told to have an entrance set up.
And you work at a restaurant, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So we were told to have an entrance where people come in, they order, and then there's a waiting area where everyone's spaced out 6 feet apart, and then they exit out the same or the other door so that people aren't passing each other. You know, if I have people waiting in line, you don't have someone else coming and passing them.
Totally makes sense.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's how it was in a lot of places. You know, even Walmart now, they have one entrance and then one exit, and it's spaced out. We had so many people, and we had signs everywhere, like, this is not an exit, entry only, like, arrows on the floor and everything. And people would still, there'd be 5 people in line, and we had them spaced out to where they were 6 feet apart. But people saw all these people waiting in line, no mask, walk right in between all of them. And we're like, hey, can you exit out the other door? And they just go on their way. And I'm like,
Wild.
yeah, it was
It's
crazy.
wild.
Just crazy to be like in that situation and walk past all those people with no mask, you know, and just be like, I'm all up in your space.
You know, it's uncharted territory, you know, and not that I'm giving a pass to people like that, but like certainly at the beginning of this whole situation was a you know, it was this idea that like nobody knew what was going on. So it was like the Wild West, you know? So you had these things happening where people were just like, well, this is what I've always done. Right. And they're not reading signs. They're just doing whatever the fuck they're doing, you know?
But it was funny
wild.
too, because when we finally opened everything up and we had both doors accessible, you know, and we cleared it out to where people could pass, people ended up being trained. Like the good people would come in that door and go out the other door, even though their car was parked on the other side. Like, even though they like were allowed to go out whatever door they wanted, they still chose to go that way because it made sense because people were waiting in line and they didn't want to walk past them and be in their space. So I saw both tokens. I saw the assholes that were like, I'll go out whatever door I want. And then the other people that even if they didn't have to,
I feel like it's a huge minority that are people that are just being assholes, and unfortunately we get to hear about them in the news because they're making the waves. But tell me about Scott Benjes.
And Christine
Christine's situation.
Said she was in the streets in New Orleans and a guy told her that she was a sheep and tried to throw his drink at Mike and her when she was wearing a mask.
Threw a drink at her?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. Tried to throw, so I guess he must have missed.
He wasn't good at
Well,
it.
I
clearly.
feel like I'm
Idiot.
sure that Mike maybe punched him in the mouth.
Knocked him out. And then, Scott said that he has been handed shit for wearing a mask in a public space. No altercation, but a lady was cursing me out for a good half an hour on and off when I went to see Andrew Scott play at a local spot. She kept cussing me out for doing what I felt was safe for me and others.
Well, that's just arrogant.
Yeah.
I mean, ignorance. That's nothing
Crazy.
but
That's crazy that people feel that way.
it's
like that
fear.
hateful.
It's just fear-based
Yeah.
hate. There's nothing.
Dude,
And why? If you're that, stay home. Go away.
and not
Go
only
away.
like passionate on that way, but like passionate on a way that like Scott was just sitting
Right.
with a mask on
Right.
because he felt that was safe for himself.
And he's going through possible things.
Sure.
And all that stuff.
She has no idea what Scott's going through. Right?
Yeah.
And he's sitting watching Andrew Scott, who is a friend of the show, whom I love. I look up to him as an artist. I want to go see Andrew
I'd
Scott. God
recommend
damn it. Seriously. And somebody is going to attack Scotty for sitting. I could understand the other way around a little bit. Like, I'm not giving a pass for the people who attack people not wearing a mask.
But that's still
physically.
just opinion. So honestly, we should all just.
It's all opinion.
Mind
However,
your
do you.
business, yeah.
You do
However,
you.
you want to give me an argument on you want to get me on board of an argument. I'm much more able to get onto an argument of somebody cussing somebody out for wearing a mask than you are getting me on board for cussing somebody out for not wearing one. Period. That's me. And call it what you will, but that's personal opinion to me.
Exactly.
You know?
Basic shit.
So to sum it up, I feel like to wrap it up,
Yeah.
it's time to wrap it up.
Oh, we wrapped it
Christine
up.
said, wear your mask while you return your cart.
Yeah.
Hey, well
Yes.
done, Christine.
Thank you, Christine.
nailed it.
Yes.
How to not be a
She's
Karen.
right though. She's right though.
Very good. Very good.